G'day guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of Space Survival. So in last week's episode I spent a little bit of time getting this room sorted out. Why is my grinder not, or welder not changing colour? Anyway, yeah, I spent a little bit of time getting this room sorted out. Although the majority of the time in last episode was spent fixing all of the damage that the Reavers had done. Now, one thing I did try to do while I was away, because, alright, here's the thing. What I really don't want to happen is the Reavers, when they do attack me and kind of ram into my base, I don't want them to damage the outside of this asteroid. So what I attempted to do was actually change the settings in the game so that there was no voxel damage. But what I discovered was that also means that you can't right-click drill stuff, which is kind of a big part of what I do, so yeah. That plan kind of went out the window, so... But, before I continue, I am going to move this thing back inside, just in case the Reavers do come a-knocking. Alright, cool. This thing's parked down, so that's not going anywhere, and hopefully won't be attacked. I just need to make sure as well that I've got all my antennas turned off. I'm pretty sure I do. I don't have any other antennas, so we should be okay for that. Alright, so... let's get started with what I want to do in this episode. So in this episode, obviously, I would really like to get this room completed because I feel like I've spent so many episodes at this point trying to get this done. But yeah, the Reavers keep getting in the way of that, so I would really like to actually get it done. So, like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm going to put some of these beam blocks all the way along the roof that extend all the way to the other side. And, so essentially we're going to have beam blocks that kind of go like this. So we'll grab our little 2x1 tip here, spin that around, and then up in here, well first let's drill this out. Alright, so now that that's drilled out and we grind this block out, let's turn my lights on and then we can kind of see what's going on in here. So up here, going to have one of these blocks, like that. And then from there, I'm just going to run the standard beam blocks. So, probably something like that. Now, I don't know if I really want the roof to be flush there, or if I want to kind of taper it. So, if I do want to taper it on the sides, I would probably do something like this. So we could go for maybe one of these blocks here. So one of these blocks like so. And I don't know if that's really going to look any decent, or what we can do is we can use these blocks here, which is the angled interior walls, which might look a little bit interesting. Or the other thing I can do is I can use these blocks here. So these ones. So I'm going to test out all three designs and see which one looks the best. And I think also what I'm going to do is I am going to put my lights behind here. Because, yeah, if I run them on the outside, which I can do, I can run them on the outside, but I think it might be a little bit better if I put them behind these beam blocks. So, alright, the first thing I've got to do is actually drill all of this stuff out. Or grind it all out, I should say. Then I've got to place blocks here. Put my lights in as well, up on the roof. Is that voxel? Yeah, it is. Yeah, put the lights all the way along the roof, and then put those blocks in on the end to attach those blocks to, so that everything remains airtight. And then, yeah, we can kind of go from that point onwards. Alright, so probably going to time-lapse this stuff, so hopefully you enjoy it. Well, I don't think I was able to time-lapse too much of that stuff. I don't know yet because I haven't actually done the editing for it. But yeah, just due to the camera angles and things like that, yeah, I'm probably going to cut a fair bit of that out, mainly because of the fact that you can't actually see my character doing the work. So I probably had to skip a lot of that and then just, yeah. So it wasn't my best time-lapse, but it will do the job. Okay, so now we've kind of got all of that stuff done. So I have my beam blocks in, and as you can see, I've got my lights basically behind the beam blocks, and I've essentially put them in the exact same position as where these ones were. I mean, I suppose I could kind of skip this one here, this one. Yeah, I can't really do that. Because of the length of this room, I'd have to maybe put them at a different spacing, but it's just kind of too hard to figure out what exactly that spacing is. So I opted just to put them in the same positions as what these lights here are. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just quickly remove these lights here. So let's remove those, and then we can start configuring the lights that we've just built. Okay, so to start off with, let's find all of our... it should just be inset lights, and it will be all of these ones that aren't these ones here, because I believe these are actually out in the hangar. So let's select all of these, hold down the control key, untick that one, untick that, and that will deselect those ones. Alright, so standard lighting color that I always go for, 190-215. Gonna go for a radius of about 10 meters here. So let's go 10 meters. Then let's go for a fall off of 2. The intensity will be 1.2 as per usual, because I don't want them to be extremely bright. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Yeah, man, yeah, because the gravity generator is here, my character's kind of glitching out when I go over these little bumps here. Yeah, anyway, so I think it looks pretty good there, but the only problem is the light doesn't really come down here and light up the top of these things, and it looks quite a lot darker in this room than it does out in this hallway. I kind of want to balance it out so that the hallway looks the same as this room here, or sorry, the other way around. The room looks the same as the hallway. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to rename all of these lights here in the center, and then I'm going to set the radius of those different to the rest of this room. Alright, well that took me way too much time. At least way more time than I care to admit, because I had to rename each one of those individually in the build planner and actually type out the whole lot. I couldn't copy and paste it, which... I know that you can copy and paste things with the build planner, but I don't know exactly how to do it yet, and I couldn't really be bothered trying to figure it out. So anyway, let's move on. So we have production room... roof light center 1 through to 8. So let's select all of those. Now let's bump up the light to about 12.5. Let's go for that. And how are we looking so far? Yeah, that doesn't actually look too bad. It's still not kind of the same as this room here. I feel like it's a little bit lighter here than it is in here. So I might bump that up to maybe, let's go for 14. So let's do this again. Production room. Roof light center. Let's go for 14 meters. And yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. So yeah, that looks all good, but the roof, yeah, not so much. So now we got to start with this one. So like I said, what I would like to do is around about here somewhere, I would like to put in some of these blocks here, so so that these blocks here, these beam blocks, are kind of bulging outwards and there's a little bit more shape to the room. On this side, I want to use these blocks, and then on this other side here, I want to test out these blocks here. So we have our angled interior wall A, which is this one. So we'll probably go for that orientation. We'll see how that looks, and then yeah, we'll see how everything else looks, and yeah, let's get that done. Alright guys, well, as you can see, I've kind of welded up a line of these blocks in all 3 configurations to figure out which one I like the best. I'm really not liking this configuration here because these blocks, yeah, they kind of just have this perpetuating texture pattern that I'm not really the biggest fan of. In some circumstances it looks cool, but I think in this circumstance it doesn't really look that great. I am really liking this pattern here. That actually looks pretty good. I think that might actually be what I'm going to go for. But then there is also this pattern over here, which I'm not really overly fond of either. So the one thing I would like to try though is in both of these patterns, I'm going to grind away these blocks here and I'm going to replace them with half blocks and then see how that looks, because I think that might actually make it look a little bit better. So what are we going to do here? So I'd have to go for probably one of these blocks. Let's change the color of this. Let's change it to a 2x1. Go for that. And then change it to this. And then we can put in half beam blocks and then see what that looks like. Alright, so the half beam blocks are now installed, and you know what? I'm actually liking that a little bit more. I have a little bit more light kind of bouncing off of these. One thing I would like to try as well though is I feel as if these blocks here have more of the white light. I think what I would like to do is maybe change the offset to 2.5 meters so the light source kind of sits here and then reflects off of these blocks a little bit more and then reduce the radius. That's going to kind of reduce the coverage over the top, but it might accentuate the roof just a little bit more. So alright, let's find these blocks. So we have our roof light. Let's go for, so what's that? Minus 2.5. That's 12.5. No, 11.5. So go 11.5, and then the offset will go for 3 because that's 2.5 meters more. Alright, let's see how that looks. Yeah, so now the roof is lit up a little bit more and I feel like that looks a lot better. So we'll do the same for the other side and then we'll see how that looks as well. So let's find our roof lights again. So roof light. No, I haven't renamed those ones, have I? What are they called? Inset lights. So let's select all of these. Wait, what did I do there? I didn't press shift properly. All right, shift, control, control, get rid of those ones. So we'll reduce this to 7.5, 7.5, and then we shall push out the radius of these to 3.0, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'm actually liking that quite a lot. So this actually doesn't look too bad with these half blocks. I would really like to put those blocks in the center to see how that looks. Although I feel as if they should probably be this color maybe. So maybe let's change that color here to that. And yeah, it actually looks reasonable. Alright, so I'm going to change these blocks here to those interior pillar A's, I think it's called. And, well, what are they? I think they're a sloped interior wall A. I'll change this row to those blocks, and then we'll see how that looks overall. Alright, and there we go. So I have put those all the way along the side there, and I think it looks fairly interesting. I don't know if it's something that I want to do in the end though. That's the only thing about it. I suppose I could even put another... No, I can't put beam blocks there because that would just look silly. Or maybe I can. Decisions. I think I kind of like this style here better than I like that. That looks just a little bit too busy and removes a lot of the detail from these beam blocks maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. I think maybe what I'll do is I might mess around with that in creative mode. And just, yeah, kind of do the entire room like that and then see how it looks. But I don't really want to do that in this scenario because, yeah, it just takes so much time to do an entire room in those blocks. And if I don't like it, I don't really want to waste all that time. Actually, you know what? Stuff it. I am going to do the middle section in those blocks and then just see how it looks. Okay, so I ended up doing pretty much the entire room in those blocks, just to see what it would look like in a realistic scenario. Now we just got to kind of fill in the voids. So for this, whoa, what am I doing? Alright, let's grab some steel plates, because what I want to do is kind of taper it down, and there is another so I want the roof to kind of taper down at this point as well, and somehow I'm going to have to make it meet up with that side over there, but we'll worry about that in a minute. But essentially what I'm going to do is probably grab one of these blocks here, one of these big ones. We're going to move this around till we get to about that point. Or do I want it to be about there? Yeah, I think I might start that block about there, just so we have a little bit of the beam block showing through. So we'll start that there. Then here we're going to have to put in one of these blocks. So let's grab that, place that there, and then place another one there. Hopefully I've got the materials to build those, which it looks like I do. And then we can do that. And then here, what I want to do is I want to place in some of these blocks. So we'll go for number 5. And I'm just going to put in some 2x1 tips. And I want to go all the way across there like that with these blocks. But I think just for the sake of it, I'm going to put a block. Yeah, I basically need to put one of these blocks here to make it airtight. So we'll do that. Place one of those blocks in there. In there, in there, in there. Get these welded up. I've probably got to do the other side as well, but that's fine, we'll do that in a second. Alright, so one here as well, one there too. Get those done. Right, now we shall fit in all of these blocks here. And get those welded up. Alright, cool, so there we go, that's those blocks done. And yeah, that's essentially what it could look like. Alright, let's do the other side as well, because then I think we can get a full appreciation of how it would look if I was to go that way throughout the entire room. And I know this seems like a lot of work, but remember, this is the first time that I'm kind of laying out the groundwork for all of the other rooms that are going to follow from this. It's kind of like the hallway. Like the hallway, this hallway is what every hallway is going to look like. So I know what the design is going to be. So once I've figured out a design that I'm happy with all across the board, then we can just use that throughout the entire base. We just kind of use the same aesthetic, if that kind of makes sense. So once we figure it out, then it should be pretty easy to kind of go around and then replicate this in every other room, and I don't really have to think about it too much, and we can make a lot faster progress. Now, it looks like I've run out of steel plates. Alright, so let's replicate it all the way across that back wall and then stand back and admire our work and see how it looks.
Energy critical.
Okay, so I think I'm all done now. I honestly think this room would be airtight at this point, unless there is a block that I've missed somewhere. Anyway, back to what we were doing before. So yeah, as you can see, I think it's looking pretty good. Obviously it sticks out here a little bit and then it becomes flush up on the roof, but we have quite a bit going on here, so I'm really not sure if this looks better or if what I was planning to do before would look better, which would be to use these blocks here, these ones. So I may, I know it seems crazy, I might just grind all that stuff down and then test out these blocks here as well and see how they look, because this is quite busy, although it does look quite good, does it not? Huh. Yeah, decisions, but before I do anything, I need to get some more energy. Well, actually, I've been kind of thinking about it. Maybe I can do something what I've done there, and make it look interesting, but not as interesting as that, because I think I need to dull it down a little bit because it looks a little bit too in your face. But I reckon that might be a good compromise between the blocks that I wanted to use and these blocks here. So let's grind all of these out on one side. Which side do I want? Alright, let's grind all these ones out and then replace them with something to the effect of what is going on in the hallway.
Inventory
and then we can
full.
see how that looks.
Inventory full.
Alright, so I've ground all these blocks out, so I dare say we're going to have to go for these blocks at about this point. Let's alternate these, obviously, like we discussed. Now, the question is, what do I put here in the center? I could go for maybe these blocks here. So we could go for something like that. Or I could fully taper it and put in just these blocks here like this. So maybe we'll try a different thing on each side yet again. I know this is probably getting annoying, but I do want things to look good, so I am going to spend the time now to explore every possibility, and then we can make our decision once we are well informed. It's always... I mean, some people have said that I'm good at designing things, and I'm not necessarily saying that I am, and being... how would I put it? Up myself? I don't really like using that term, but anyway. I think the reason why I can make things look really good is because I do spend the time to go through and just try everything that I possibly can think of. And then even sometimes I think of something way later and then see how it looks after that. Alright, so... got to admit, I don't really like either of them. I kind of wish there was something that would go halfway between this one and that one. So, there is that too. But, I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I really don't know which one looks better. Now, have I filled in every block? I want to see if this is airtight. Let's just check this out. So, let's close this door here. And this should pressurize everything. Nah, they're yellow. Alright, let's make sure this isn't a glitch by closing this door. And we're pressurizing, so okay. So it can't be that. Let's just make sure this hallway is pressurized. So let's close this door. Do we have pressurization? Yes, we do. Okay, so the room definitely has a leak. Now, whether or not that is because of what I've done or because I've missed a block. So what I'm going to do is just check everything and make sure I've welded up all these wall blocks and all the blocks on the floor as well before I start accusing the roof of being the leaky culprit. Aha! I have found my leaky blocks. Looks like I missed one of these, so you know what? I'm just going to replace that with one of these blocks. Because honestly, I do think that I want to go with either one of these designs. I do kind of like this one better because you can see that there. I'm just trying to think though. What's another block that I can put in its place that is a little bit more... Oh, I know. I could use this block here. I could use that one. And maybe... No, that's not going to work because that's going to stick out further. Nah. Okay, so... I don't believe there is a block that I can use that's in between those two. That's in between this one and this one. There is no block that's in between those two. There's not a block that at least goes like 3/4 of the way up. It's just impossible. So I think I'm going to have to settle for this side. Now, are we airtight? We're still not airtight. So there's obviously some other block in here somewhere that isn't complete. Or my roof is just leaky. Oh. Well, that'll do it. That would definitely do it. Let me just check. All these corners here. I thought I got all those blocks,
Energy low.
but obviously I didn't. Alright, there we go. We have low oxygen, so we're definitely airtight. Alright, let's close this door because I don't want to let all my oxygen out. And then what I might do, in fact, is let's find these air vents. And let's set these to depressurize. And then I will suck all of the air out of all of these rooms so that I don't waste all my oxygen. Because at this point in time, I don't actually have any O2 generators or anything really to generate more oxygen. Nor do I have much ice, if any at all. So I've got to kind of be conservative with that. But yeah, I actually really like this design better than I like that stuff over there. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and replace all of the roof with that. But one thing I want to do is I want to figure out this kind of transition between these blocks and this wall here. So let's get stuck into that. Okay, let's grind this block out. That one as well. So we'll start here. We'll probably go for a 2x1 tip. So something like that. Then we'll go for maybe one of... Let's go for... Probably go for one of these blocks here. Where is it? There it is. This one. So we'll go for that. And then we'll go for maybe one of these blocks. So... Is it that way? No, I believe it is orientated this way. And is there a block that I can get to go between those two? Let's have a look in the new blocks that they added. I can't remember which update it was, but it was one of them. Okay, so that's not going to fit. That's definitely not going to fit. That won't fit either. Yeah, that's way off. What about its like mirror counterpart? Is it this one? No, it's this one. Yeah. That kind of does fit.
Energy critical.
But it's a little bit janky. It has this edge here which I'm not happy about. What else can I do? So maybe let's try and start from this side as well, because we have one of those blocks there, and then we can put another one of those blocks there and it will corner up with that one, and then we can figure out a block to join those two together. Hopefully that makes sense, but let me just show it rather than say it. There we go. And then I think we can make this work pretty easily. So then we can go for one of these. Like so. And honestly, I think that is about as good a transition as we're going to get. So I have to replicate that on the floor. The only problem is we have a little bit of a overhang here from these beam blocks, but I think that's acceptable, and it does transition really nice from here over to the wall. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of design work in a room. But hey, you know what? I think it looks good. And, you know, as always, let me know what you guys think. So now, I'm going to time-lapse the rest of this stuff. Alright, and there we go. So the room is pretty much done. I honestly don't think that there is anything that I want to change. Well, tell a lie, there is. You guys know what I'm like. So what I was thinking, a strong unknown signal. Oh yeah, that's because I have my second computer logged in with my other character for the time lapse. Anyway, what I was thinking is maybe changing these blocks here to something else. So what we could do is maybe change them for these sci-fi interior walls, and maybe just add just a tiny touch more detail, even more than what we have at the moment, because, you know, why not? We may as well. So to that end, where do I start these blocks? No, it's not pressurized. Alright, cool. So I'm not going to waste oxygen if I grind stuff down. I could start them here, but I don't think I want to. I think what I'll do is probably start them about here. So let's grind away all of these blocks in the center here. Hopefully I don't have to drill this stuff out. I don't think I will, but we'll see how we go. Alright, so up until this point. Alright, and then let's do the other side as well. Let's replace them with some interior walls and then see how it looks. Not going to time-lapse this stuff because it's just going to be a quick, you know, I want to see how it looks and then we can go from that point onwards. Man, would you look at this view from here? That is one thing I will never get sick of, is the view from this base. And that's one of the reasons why I chose to place it here, is because we do have a view of that planet. Alright, and we're done. Alright, let's move back and check our work. Gotta tell you fellas, I'm not totally sold on that. I think I might be able to... I think it's just a little bit too dark, so let's change the color of these to this color here, and just to lighten it up a little bit. Or, well, this texture is, I guess you could call it, because it's still pretty much the same color. Well, even though it is a different color, it looks the same, but just different texture. Yeah, honestly, I think that looks pretty good. There is a lot, and I mean a lot of detail going on in here, and I'm honestly really happy with how this room has turned out. So let's turn off the HUD here, get rid of the welder, and just kind of admire the work. Yeah, as always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Now, the only problem with this kind of design, let me get some energy here, is I'm pretty much going to have to make every room going forward about as wide as this one. Otherwise, or unless I want to, like, yeah, because this whole design is about what we've got: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, yeah, 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then we have a block in the middle there. I guess we could delete those blocks if the room is thinner. If the room is thinner, then I'd probably want to get rid of these 3 blocks in the center and butt this up against those blocks there, if I was to make a room thinner than this one. But I think for the most part, I'm going to have to kind of stick with that width, which kind of makes my job a little bit easier, because then I don't really need to worry about making too many templates. But yeah, going forward, this design is going to be really hard to kind of template into other rooms. So although it does look really cool in here, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain later on, but that's alright. It looks cool now, so we'll just run with it and see how we go in other rooms, and maybe I'll be able to figure something out. I'm sure I will. But yeah, overall, I am extremely happy with how that has turned out. That looks really, really nice. And we went through every possible design choice, so I'm happy that we have exhausted every single option available to us, and we have come to something that looks really, really, really good. Alright, so now I want to get started on another room. So obviously we've got all our production, so I could essentially get rid of the production facilities that I have out here. The next big thing is obviously to move the cargo storage. And then after that, the power situation. I guess maybe the power situation is more important than the cargo storage. But I would really like to mess around with the cargo storage because I've never really messed around with these industrial cargo containers. I've never used them in any of my bases before. They're a nice looking modern block and I would really like to use them. The only problem is that, like I said before, they don't have a cargo port on the bottom, but we can get around that by using this cargo port on the side or maybe the one on the back. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see how we go with that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to design that room though. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of brainstorming off camera and try and figure that out. Alright guys, welcome back. So I have spent a little bit of time off camera just trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with this next room. So obviously it's going to be for my cargo storage, as I mentioned before. But what I'm going to do is probably make it 4 blocks thinner. So I'm going to get rid of pretty much all of this stuff. So I'm going to get rid of these blocks up until about here. All of these blocks here. So 4 blocks, well, this block included, that block, that block, that block, and that block. And then what I'll have is I'll just have 2 of these going across the roof. And then this middle one here will kind of be deleted. And then in the middle of the room will be this block here. So yeah, essentially it's going to be 4 blocks thinner than this room. Because the, and unfortunately I don't know if it's going to look as good as this room. Because this room actually does look really, really good. Or at least I think it does. I'm sure people would agree with that. Maybe, maybe not. But I am going to make it the same length. Mainly because I want these pillars to be in about the same location. I could make it 1 block shorter, but that's not really going to work out too well for me. So yeah, and I am going to put only 6 cargo containers in there. I think, honestly, 6 large cargo containers should be plenty. It should be more than enough. They can store like 1.2 million worth of cargo. Alright, so what I got to do is modify this whole thing here to be about 15 blocks externally rather than 19, so obviously -4. And yeah, make it the exact same length because I think it was 17 blocks externally for this thing. So I'm not, well, that's the length, so I'm not exactly sure. I ground down some of these blocks, so I'm gonna have to figure out exactly how much thinner I need to make it. So anyway, let's get started with modifying this so that we can then project it through the asteroid and then get that stuff drilled out. Okay, so I spent a little bit of time off camera. I've got the projection put through the mountain. As you can see, I've gone ahead and I've modified this kind of drill guide to, yeah, be the size that I want it to be. And if we have a look at the spectator camera, I'll give you guys a look at what it actually looks like. Yeah, so that's essentially what it looks like through the mountain. So we just need to go ahead and drill this stuff out. There's yeah, quite a lot to be drilled out here. Do I need to lower it by 1 block maybe? I don't think I do. No, that's essentially where my floor needs to be. And that's where the floor needs to be over there. I don't know. I might have messed this up. Hang on. Have I messed it up? Okay, so my floor is going to be there. So, no, that's fine. If I drill there, yeah, no, that's going to work out fine. Okay, so now we just have to go ahead and actually drill all this stuff out. So I'll probably do all of that in this episode. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, one thing I do need to do is I'm going to turn this projector off because it's going to distract me. But one thing I really need to do is actually get rid of all of these blocks here on the side and put in the door. So let's get rid of these 2 blocks here. Oh no. Oh no. I got rid of the oh, this light here that was the corner light. Oh, darn it. That really sucks. Oh well. Alright, let's get rid of that block. Okay, so I'm going to have to replace those with something else. So let's grab our catwalks once again. We're going to need a few of those and then a few of these. That should do us. Okay, so I've got those blocks. Now I need to drill out. Well, actually, let's put the catwalks in first. Okay, so here I need these blocks here, just regular graded catwalks without any railing. Put those down there like that. Then we need a catwalk with a railing on one side, and we need 2 of those here, and then 2 of those here, and then I need to put in 1 of these. Right, let's get these welded up, and then I can start grinding down all the other blocks and get these doors in, because I'm going to need the cargo space to actually get rid of all these blocks, because yeah, there's going to be a fair bit of storage required for that stuff. So I believe it was everything up until the roof, is it? Yeah, so I'm going to have to get rid of this block. All these blocks, and I think, is that it? No, I'm going to have to get rid of these ones here too. Is the door wider than that? Yeah, it is a bit. So I need to get rid of these blocks here too. Yeah, so I need to get rid of all of these ones as well. And then these ones too.
Inventory full.
But of course it is. I told you it was going to take a lot of storage to get rid of all these blocks. Alright, so do I have any steel plates on me? Yeah, I've got enough, so I should be able to place this door. Let me turn some lights on so I can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, so let's grab our gate. And I want to make it this color probably. There we go. There's our gate. Okay, now what do I need to do next? So now I'm going to grab this color. Oh yeah, I've already got that color. Let's grab some more steel plates. There we go. And what do I need to do next? I think I've got to put in this block here. We want this one. I think it's that block. Am I right? Yep, it is that block. There. And then behind that one, I believe, is this one. Like so. And then we have just this little corner tip. Like so. And then one of those there. And then what else have we got? So I need to modify the roof a little bit more. That would require me to get rid of this block, and this block. And then from there, I need to put in some of these sci-fi interior walls. Let's grab 4 of those, I think it is. Yep. Oh, looks like I actually have materials for that stuff. Let's pick this color. Now, which way did I orientate these? Okay, so need to be in this direction here. So one there like that, and then one there, and then flip it around. Let's get those 2 or those 4 welded up. Alright, so that's all those blocks welded up. What do I need to do next? Next I need to put in these blocks here. So what I'm going to do is, oh, that's already attached to something, but I'm going to need to, how am I going to do this? Okay, so let's place a block here and here. Then I'm going to have to grind away this one, this sci-fi interior wall. That will hold on to this corner light so that I can put in the blocks that I need to, but we've got to drill this stuff out first. Okay, so that is drilled out. Now, how did I do this? I just put some regular steel blocks behind those, what are these called? Beam blocks? Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so we need a beam block end, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll make it this color. Oh, looks like I've already got the right color selected. So beam block end. Yep, so like so. And I put an end on that side too. So I'll flip this over like so. And then I'll grab just the regular beam block. And then I'll put one of those there. Let's weld those up. And now the corner light is attached to those, so I can get rid of these 2 blocks. And the corner light is still attached. Let's just make sure it still works. Yep, it does. And now I can put in my blocks behind that. Although, probably need to drill this out a little bit more. Let's drill this out. There we go. And now let's put in our beam
Energy
blocks.
critical.
But I'm going to make them this color. I could... Actually, I might just use half blocks here. Sometimes I like to use full blocks, but I guess it doesn't really matter if I use half blocks here. Because it's still going to be airtight. So I don't think I'll be able to reach... Yep, I can reach that one. Alright, let's put the other one in. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So, now I need to put one of these blocks behind here. Like so. And now that should be airtight once I finish the door. So let's just confirm that it all looks the same. Yes, it does. Man, I'm really liking this hallway design and just the whole aesthetic of this stuff. Okay, let's get this door done and then we can start drilling this out. Although, I may just leave that until the next episode. Okay, so the door is done. Got myself some more energy because I ran out. Alright, so... Like I said before though, I think I'm going to leave the rest of it to next episode. Yeah, we'll get that other room done. And now that I have a solid design and I know what I'm going to make, it should take me half the time to build the next room than it did this one. Because I won't be doing all sorts of experimentation with different blocks to find out what looks good. I already know what looks good, so we're just going to go with that moving forward. And yeah, so it should be a lot easier to do. So anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed the episode and how this room turned out. As always, let me know down in the comments what you think of it, and yeah, I will see you next time.